Hello everybody and welcome. This is Zach from Power9Pro.com. Today we are going to be playing some Legacy Constructed actually on Magic Online. I don't normally play Constructed on Magic Online except for the occasional games of Pauper and Momer Basic. But no, those aren't exactly real Constructed formats. Very enjoyable, but not exactly competitive. So, I'm going to be playing Goblins. One of my friends recently bought a bunch of cards on Magic Online and said he would lend me a deck. And I really want to try Goblins just because it seems like a very fun deck to play. It's also pretty competitive. I'm normally a fish player, so in real life, so if I make some mistakes, understand that I usually would rather have Force of Will in my hand and all that. So anyway, just going over the list, there's a few obviously problems with the list. Number one is we don't have Wasteland. This is because Wastelands are like 30 odd ticks a piece, and my friend who bought the deck did not have Wastelands, and so we will not be playing with Wastelands, which kind of sucks. And the other card that we're missing that should be obviously in here is Rishadan Port, and the reason that's not here is not budget. It's because it actually has not been released on Magic Online yet. Masks block should hopefully be coming sometime this coming year, after we finish up Urza block, and then Masks block will come out, and we'll get all sorts of great stuff like Port and Days and Lin Civi for the EDH players out there, I guess. But yeah, so those are the only concerns. 4 Vile, 4 Lackey. We have 2 Warren Weirding. I've been really happy with this in the games I've played it with. It's a really solid card. 4 Pile Driver. 1 Goblin Tinker is something a lot of Goblin decks are now playing, just for any random artifacts. 1 Sting Scourger, some Mogwar Marshals to control early game. Then you've got 4 Gem Palm Incinerators, which are your other removal spell in essence. Goblin Chieftains, which are really good, just 2. 4 Matrons, they're just insane. They're like demonic tutor, but they're a goblin, so they're just insane. War Chiefs to give your guys haste and make them cost less. 1 of Goblin Sharpshooter, again, it's mainly a matron target. Absolutely absurd against decks like Elves or anything with a bunch of 1 toughness guys. Goblin Ringleader is your card draw. It's like kind of an Ancestral Recall if you're lucky, or sometimes a Tidings if you're really lucky. And then Siege Gang Commander obviously is responsible for lots of those turn 1 Lackey, turn 2 Siege Gang Commander, opponent scoops scenarios. Just a great Goblin, gets a ton of damage through. He's a really good man. Land base is pretty simple. We only have 1 Badlands, but really once you have 1 of the revised duels, that's pretty much the only thing you need, because you have enough fetches and duels that you shouldn't have a problem getting just the 1 black you need. And also, playing fewer non-basics means we're less susceptible to decks that actually do play Wasteland. Going into the board, we have 3 Leyline of the Void. Dredge is really popular on Magic Online, so it's always good to have Leylines to deal with that. Perish, there's actually a ton of green-based decks I've seen around, like Zoo and even Elves are seeing a lot of play, so it's good to know. Matt Nass recently wrote an article about Elves in Legacy with Intuition Vengevine combo, which is pretty sweet. For creature decks, we got Pyrokinesis. It's the red Force of Will. Not nearly as expensive, but it's a solid removal spell. We got a couple of red Elemental Blasts for blue-based decks. We got Thorn of Amethyst. Those are mainly for combo decks, like Ad Nauseam and stuff. Although it's the Ad Nauseam matchup is still very hard. And then Pipping Needle, which is for like countertop and whatnot. Anything. Countertop is the big one. So, without further ado, I will load up a match. Alright, so we win the roll. We are going to play first. Obviously, Goblin deck, we want to play first. Sounds fine. We have a turn 2 Pile Driver, and we got some good follow-up. We got our colors, so we're not going to mulligan. I'm just going to run out of mountain here. No real point to showing that we have black, because there's like red-green goblins, I think is a deck. And obviously mono red goblins is still fine. So no need to show our opponent all of our cards quite yet. He starts off with Preordain. Interesting, I don't see a ton of that card in Legacy, but I'm a big fan of it in Standard and big fan of it in Extended, so only seems logical that we'd see play. in Legacy. So we resolve the pile driver, which is something nice to know that our opponent doesn't have Daze or Force of Will. Ponder. It seems like our opponent's playing some sort of combo deck. Yeah, really not too sure what to make of this. If it's ad nauseam, it's very slow ad nauseam. We'll see. Alright. Yeah, so I guess we just get in there with the pile driver. So for our opponent's mono blue, which means this guy should probably do some good work. We're gonna reveal a matron and then just play matron. I'm gonna get I think I'm gonna get War Chief. War Chief is just the sort of card I really want to be casting here. Opponent brainstorms, so I'll see what he gets. Just fiddling around with my windows there. So our opponent casts Disrupting Shoal. I have to actually read this. So if it's okay, so he exiles Cunning Wish and casts Shoal on Matron. Oh, all right, that's fine. I have never seen either of those cards get played in Legacy, but you know, there's a first time for everything. Or I have seen Cunning Wish get played, I think, in a few decks, but I have not seen Disrupting Shoal before. So our opponent's some sort of mono blue deck. Not exactly sure what to make of it, but you know, just gonna get in there. And then we'll play Matron again and see if we can go for the War Chief plan again. And it resolves. Obviously, we're going to have to make sure that we don't break our. Oh yeah, never mind. I forgot that Matron actually puts it into our hand. It's just that insane. It's not like a Bogart Harbinger from Lorwyn, which puts on top of your deck. I was going to say, yeah, we have to make sure not to break the fetch line. But no, I'm just so surprised every time Matron puts it into my hand. Great card. So we really haven't seen a ton of our opponent, just a bunch of draw spells and then Disrupting Shoal. The Cunning Wish means they've probably got some sort of toolbox in the sideboard, which I'm a big fan of, but let's see how this goes. I'll break the fetch. I'll go get Badlands, I guess. Might as well. And we'll play out the War Chief. Hopefully this resolves. Yep. Okay, and then we're going to play out the Tinkerer. And we're going to swing in for a crap ton of damage here. Especially with the pile driver, assuming it gets through. But there's not a ton mono blue can exactly do to, save itself in this situation. Okay, so we attack with the team. Goblin War Chief is so good. Like, obviously here, the costing one less didn't make a huge difference, but there are some turns where, especially once you start activating, you start using using Ringleader. Oh, I know what our opponent's playing. He's playing some sort of Time Spiral High Tide deck. Okay. Interesting stuff. Interesting. I have not played against one of these decks so far. Haven't exactly been terribly, haven't been keeping up a great deal on the Legacy metagame. I've followed it a fair bit, but I haven't. I've only skimmed the High Tide Time Spiral decks. Alright. Okay, so put them all on the top and then did not shuffle off the ponder. Alright. So our opponent pretty much has to go off here, or they win. Cloud of Fairies, that's a great card in Pauper. I'll just F6 here. So he can cast Time Spiral now if he has it. Oh, he's gonna. Is he cunning away? Is Time Spiral an instant? Friends access. Okay. Turnabout. Okay. Sure. So he's gonna tap all his lands, then turn them out and untap them all. Yeah. Eight in the pool. Time Spiral. No, it's another turnabout. Okay. So he's ramping pretty hard here. 12 mana. And he concedes. Alright. So he pretty much just showed us a bunch of cards we really didn't need to see. So I'm gonna bring in the blue blasts, obviously. And I think thorns are probably good against this deck. He had a lot of cheap, non-creature spells. Yeah, like if I can make his time spell cost, or like his time spell cost or more, it might just put enough disruption on him. So stuff like Sting Scourge is pretty bad. Goblin Tinkerer is pretty bad. And then the Cyclers, Jump Home Incinerators, probably not goes. No, 3 Incinerator. It just doesn't seem that good to me. Just he isn't playing a bunch of creatures. War on Raiding is still fine though, because we can just target our own guys and make more goblins, and we'll leave one in because really there's nothing else I'd really want to bring in. Like I could bring in a Needle, but I don't know what I would name with that. I don't have enough experience playing against the deck, so we'll submit and go to game 2. Notice I now have the Balance Avatar instead of Dak on Black Beta, I think was my old one. I don't know. I like this one. It's very similar to the Judge promo Balance, and you got that for playing in and winning big Masters Edition queues. And I played 10 of them, so I have like 6 of them or whatever. I also have the Word of Command one. Not going to mulligan this, obviously. We have Blue Blast. We have Turn 1 Lackey, Turn 2 Disruptive Spell, Goblin Piledriver, which has protection from his deck. You know, all sorts of good stuff. So yeah, I've been debating. Like the Word of Command one is like obviously a little bit more prestigious, just because you had to top 8 a 64 man. But you know, it's just 2 eyes. It's not elegant. I don't know. But you did not come to hear me talk about my avatars. We are talking about how awesome this Goblins deck is. So it seems like our opponent takes a few turns to go off, and we are going to take advantage of that as much as we can. One thing I've noticed about Ether Vial is it's a lot worse in this deck, I think, than it is in Fish. Just because in Fish you in essence, it's always a combat trick because you can bring out your lords and stuff like that, and you have so many lords, and you just always leave it on 3. Here, you usually tick it up to 5 all the way if you're going for siege gangs. So, just something to be aware about. I could play Thorn here, but I think I'd rather just... Yeah, I think I'll play Thorn here. I just want to disrupt him as much as possible. I don't intend on playing Ether Vial. He might... gonna attack with Lackey, pitch the Matron. Oh, he's disrupting Shoals, okay. Pitching Brain Freeze. Oh, okay, so he's got a Storm combo. I got it. Okay. Attack with Lackey. Actually, so here, we can put Piledriver into play, which is going to hit for a lot. Or we can put Matron into play and then get Chieftain or something next turn. I think I'm going to put Piledriver in. It does a lot more damage. And I'm actually fine with next turn perhaps playing Vial, attacking, and then leaving it Red Elemental Blast. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, well, we drew Chieftain, which is always nice. So we're going to break this. I'm actually just going to get basic Swamp here. Just no reason to expose yourself to some sort of land destruction. I think I'm just going to run out Chieftain, swing for a ton, and then Lackey, I'll put Matron to play. And then I'll use Matron to get maybe another Chieftain or something. Take the basic swamp. Okay, so we're gonna crash in for approximately $1 billion. And by $1 billion, I mean 10. Lackey triggers, matron into play. I'm actually going to get Ringleader here, just because, like, there's no reason to overextend with, like, another Chieftain. I think it's just better to get Ringleader here, in case he has, like, a Blue Wrath or something, then, you know. He could High Tide Time Spiralist here, so maybe playing Chieftain was slightly greedy, but, yeah, there's the High Tide. Time Spiral? Turnabout, okay. So maybe he doesn't have Time Spiral in his deck. Cunning Wish. Magic Online prevents access to the collection during timed games. No one's ever cast a wish against me. Interesting to see. He gets Into the Royal. What on earth are you targeting with Into the Royal? Like, you can't target Pile Driver, and that's the big thing. Like, I guess you could target Chieftain and then counter it? I know, that seems very subpar. Okay. And you draw a card. You have 3 mana left, and he concedes. Alright, well, that was weird. Let's go fire up another one.